Welcome to the Christina All Day YouTube channel and the Christina All Day podcast. Today I am reviewing the Coast to Coast Murders. This is by James Patterson and he has a co-writer for this one. It is J.D. Barker. I'm not sure if he has ever written with J.D. Barker before, but this is a long book. It's a long one, but you'll read it fast because like many of the other books by James Patterson, it's good. It's a page turner, over 550 pages. I read this one, I think, in 2 or 3 days. And it is about coast-to-coast murders, as you would assume. This one is different than a lot of his other books because there is quite the twist at the end. It is a psychological thriller, like a lot of his other books, but this one has an ending and you're like, oh wow, interesting ending, okay. And then at the very end, the ending switches. And it's like, whoa, didn't see that coming. A lot of his books aren't like that. They don't have that big twist at the end, and this one did, and I liked it. So you have these murders happening across the country. They're all tied to this man named Michael. And this man named Michael, in the book, he's like, I didn't do this. Even though the evidence is clearly there, this guy did it. He's very believable in saying he doesn't even know these people. He's got nothing to do with them. But there's so much that ties the murders to him and his family. So Michael's adopted. His sister Maven is adopted. And his parents are both doctors, psychologists, psychiatrists, really renowned in their area. And there's some shady stuff going on. Obviously, people are being killed, but there's some shady stuff going on with the home life, and it all kind of ties in together. Definitely not realistic. This is like, I mean, I guess it could be. There are crazy people out there. It would be a stretch if it were, but it could be. It's a good one. It's a good one. I read it quickly. I give this one 5 out of 5 stars. Hands down. This was one of the better James Patterson reads that I have read in a while, and I do think it's because it was a little different than a lot of his other ones, and that ending, the twist at the end, very different from what he normally does, and I liked it. I liked the twist, JP. So I would get this one. And while I'm here talking about James Patterson, I want to share a little story about how I met him one day. My husband tells me not to tell this story because he says it embarrasses me. Like I should be embarrassed by it, but I think it's pretty cool. So we were, my husband and I, at a bookstore in Palm Beach called Classic Bookshop, and we bought a couple of children's books for the kids. James Patterson wrote them with his wife, and they were signed, so we bought them. We were getting ready to leave, and somebody was parking a Tesla just across the street from the bookstore. And I said, do you think that Tesla is parking itself, or do you think the person driving it is parking it? And then I looked at the driver, and I grabbed my husband, and I said, oh my God, that's James Patterson. And he was like, I know. And I said, what should I do? Should I say hi? And the most obvious thing to do is ask him to autograph the book he just bought him. But because he lives in Palm Beach, and he frequents that bookstore, it was already autographed. So I'm like, I gotta have a reason to like talk to him. I can't just say hi. That's lame. You meet your favorite author and you just say hi. So he parks and he gets out of the car and his wife gets out before he does, and his wife walks around like she's getting ready to cross the street. And I'm like, I can't let these people cross the street. So I run into the middle of the street and I stop them in the middle of the street. And I think I sound crazy because I didn't know what to say and I knew I had to say something. So I was like, hi, how are you? And I think I scared his wife because I was like frantic in the middle of the street. And I said, I'm such a fan. I have all of your books. I just bought a couple of books from you at the bookstore here, and they're for my kids, and I know they're already autographed, but will you just write their names in them? And he looked at me like I was nuts because I just chased him into the middle of the street. And then he said, yeah, let's get out of the middle of the road first. And I was like, good idea. So we got out of the middle of the road, and he had his wife, he held the book for his wife, and his wife wrote to Juliana and Landon in the book because he said she had better handwriting, and she offered to take her picture with the Classic Bookshop in the back, and they were very nice. I think they were just trying to go to lunch or brunch, and I chased him down into the middle of the street. And that's why my husband says, if you ever see him again, don't remind him of that story. Don't tell him that was you, because you looked like a crazy woman. So that's it. That's my story on how I met James Patterson and appeared like a cuckoo bird, chasing him into the middle of the street just to meet him and say hi. But I will say, he is the reason that I started buying books and that I wanted a built-in bookshelf in my house. And right after that was built, I saw him in Palm Beach. So I told him about that too. He honestly didn't seem like too interested. I was probably rambling, honestly. I don't get starstruck a lot. When I was a TV reporter, I interviewed a lot of celebrities. I was never really starstruck. I was either impressed by the celebrity or disappointed, just based on the fact of how they treated a commoner like me. That's the reason I love David Beckham so much, is because he was just so nice. Guy Fieri, I didn't really know about him or care for him, or, you know, he was just like a whatever kind of guy for me. But he was so nice that now I'm a fan. And then I found out he's from Ohio, so now I'm a bigger fan. So with James Patterson, he was nice. His wife was lovely. They stopped. They signed the book. They stopped for a picture. I'm so happy, because they say don't meet your heroes. Like, don't meet the people you're fans of, because if they're not nice, you will be so crushed and disappointed. So I'm so glad that he was lovely, even though I may have appeared a little crazy. So that's my James Patterson story during this book review of the Coast to Coast Murders. For more, make sure you tap that subscribe button on the podcast, Christina Reads All Day, or here on the Christina All Day YouTube channel. Here on the YouTube channel, I'm not just doing book reviews. We are baking in the kitchen with my kids. That's always fun. Sometimes we do some arts and crafts. Usually it's just baking. Sometimes I take you on trips with us and take you inside our hotel, our resort, Disney, the whole thing. So make sure you tap that subscribe button. And as always, you can find me at Christina All Day on social media, and you can check out the blog, the book reviews, and everything else I'm doing there at ChristinaAllDay.com.